Okay.
This is the crunchiest snow I've ever had.
Okay. So, again, in hypothesis tests, there are three main kinds. May z-test for population means, there's a t-test for population means, and there's a z-test for proportions. Now, the differences naman are very clear. In fact, they're very similar to the rules in choosing the formula for confidence intervals. Okay? So first, we have the z-test for population means. So what do you think are the conditions in using this kind of test? First, you should be making conclusions about the average of a population. Your parameter is mu. Next, it's a z-test, so you can only use that if your sampling distribution of the sample mean is either exactly or approximately normal. And finally, we will use a z-test if the population standard dev is known. Okay? You only look at three conditions. The last one, yung capital N over small letter n, will just dictate the formula. If it's greater than 20, then we will use the shorter formula for sigma sub x bar. Or if it's less than 20, then we'll use the finite population correction. Okay? But again, there are three main conditions in using this. Very similar to the conditions in using the z-based confidence intervals for means. Okay? So in the trash bag case example earlier, okay, remember we set up the null and the alternative. So again, first step is to set the null and the alternative. Our null hypothesis, as mentioned earlier, is mu less than or mu is equal to 50 pounds. And then the alternative is that the mu is greater than 50 pounds. Okay? Now, step 2 is to set the values for alpha. As mentioned earlier, we will use all the 4 values in all computations. That's 10%, 5%, 1%, and 0.1%. Okay? Now, in step 3, you should identify the test that should be performed. So again, in this problem, we were trying to make conclusions about the average, right? Average breaking strength of all trash bags. So we are making conclusions about mu. Next, what can you say about the sampling distribution of the sample mean for the trash bag case? If we try to go back to the trash bag case earlier, what can you say about the sampling distribution? The sampling distribution of the sample mean is approximately normal. Why approximately normal? We don't know the distribution of the breaking strength of all the trash bags, but the sample size is large enough. It's 40. And then finally, do we have sigma in the problem? Do we know the population standard dev of all the breaking strengths? Yes, here we assume that it's 1.65. So given these three information, it's enough for us to say that we should use a z-test for the population mean. Okay? So later on, if sigma is unknown, then obviously you can't use the z-test for population means. You have to use something else, and later on you'll see that that's the t-test for population means. Okay? So in step 3, identify the given information for you to know the correct test that you should perform. Okay? Now, the step 4 now depends on the method that you will perform. We have 2 methods as mentioned earlier. The first method is called the critical value method. And the second method is called the p-value method. So in the critical value method, okay, step 4, we will create boundaries, we will create rejection rules based on the values of alpha and based on the type of hypothesis. Okay, first, what do we call this type of hypothesis? One-sided greater than, one-sided less than, or two-sided not equal to? This is one-sided greater than. Okay? So if you have a one-sided greater than test for critical value method, we have to look for critical values. Okay? And since greater than yan, then we will look for positive critical value. Okay? So if this is your standard normal curve, we only look at the one at the right side. Okay? So these are z-scores, standard normal distribution, and we will look for critical values. Now, critical values are z-scores such that the area to the right of the z-score is equal to alpha. Okay? A critical value is a z-score wherein the area to its right is equal to alpha. However, here we have 4 values of alpha, which means that we have 4 critical values. So the first critical value is the one for 10%, the z-score with 10% to its right. That's your first critical value. Okay? The critical value for 5% is that z-score that gives you 5% to its right. Ibig sabihin, from this point to the rightmost, that's 10%. Okay, this shaded part here is 10%. In this case, the total area is 5%. Okay? The third critical value is the z-score that gives you 1% to the right. So this total area is just 1%. And the last critical value is the z-score that gives you 0.1%. So the total area is 0.001. Okay? So all of these are called z-crits. Z-subcrit. These are your critical values. Okay? Now, the rejection rule states that if the test statistic that you will compute for later in step 5 is inside the rejection area, meaning greater than the critical value, then reject the null hypothesis. So it's very clear. Okay? If the test statistic that we will compute for later is greater than the critical value, or if it's inside the rejection area. So yung rejection area is just the area to the right of the critical value. So if the test statistic is greater than the critical value, or if the test statistic is inside the rejection area, then reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So that's the rejection rule. Now here, we have to look for the exact critical values. Okay? What is this z-score that gives you 10% to its right? You can only find that through the standard normal table. So the same technique that we discussed from chapter 6 and was used in chapter 8 to look for z-scores for confidence intervals, you also need that to look for critical values. So what is that z-score with 10% to its right? So 10% is the area to the right. Our table gives you areas to the left. So look for 0.9. Okay? So ano yung, is there a z-score that gives an area exactly equal to 0.9? Meron bang 0.9? Wala. So again, the rule is look for the closest. What's the closest to 0.9? The closest probability is 0.8997. And the z-score for that is 1.28. So that's your first critical value, 1.28. If your test statistic is greater than 1.28, then reject the null hypothesis at alpha 10%. Okay? And then do that for all the other values. Ano naman yung z-score with 5% to its right? 5% to the right. That's 1.645. Okay? How about 0.01? Closest is for 2.33. And finally, 0.001, merong exact. That's 3.09. Okay? So again, these values are not given all the time. Okay? No one will give you these values. You have to search for these on your own. And again, it's just based on the values of alpha. Pero kung parating ganitong test naman yung perform mo, it's also a z-test, and you have the same set for alpha, then you can just copy these. Okay? So again, these are the critical values. The rejection rule states that if your test statistic is greater than the critical value, then reject the null hypothesis. Now in step 5, we will actually compute for the test statistic. Okay? Now, what is the formula for the test statistic for a z-test for means? The test statistic, or we call that z substat, has this formula. That's x bar minus mu naught, okay, with the subscript 0, divided by sigma sub x bar. Okay? Now, do we have the sample mean? The sample mean was given earlier, that's 50.575. Right? How about mu naught? Where do we get this value? This one is the constant in your hypothesis. Remember, these should be the same value. That will be your mu naught. In this case, we subtract 50. Okay? And then we divide this by sigma sub x bar. But remember, there are two formulas for sigma sub x bar. Either we use the shorter one or the longer one. And in the trash bag case, which formula do we use? Shorter one, bakit? You have infinite trash bags. You can keep on producing trash bags, so it's infinite. So we only use the shorter formula, which is sigma over the square root of n. And sigma here is known, that's 1.65. So we divide this by the square root of 40. Okay? So computing for this test statistic, we will get 2.2. The test statistic is equal to 2.2. Your test statistic should be rounded off to 2 decimal places. Remember, pag z-score, parating 2 decimal places lang. And once you have the test statistic, now compare this to the critical values. Where is your test statistic relative to the critical values? Ito yung z-scores mo, di ba? Critical values. Nasaan yung test statistic? Between 1.645 and 2.33. Let's say, ito yung position of your test statistic. So, is the test statistic inside the rejection area for 10%? Ano ba yung rejection area for 10%? Everything to the right of 1.28. Nasa loob ba yung test statistic? Yes. So what will be your decision for an alpha of 10%? Since the test statistic is inside the rejection area for 10%, our decision for 10% is that we will reject the null hypothesis. Okay? Now we will do the same comparison for all the other values of alpha. Next, 5%. Is the test statistic inside the rejection area for 5%? First, ano ba yung rejection area for 5%? Everything to the right of 1.645. Is it inside? Yes. So what will be your decision for 5%? We also reject the null hypothesis. Okay? What about 1%? Is the test statistic inside the rejection area for 1%? Ano ba yung rejection area for 1%? Greater than 2.33. Is this greater than 2.33? No. Therefore, what should be your decision for 1%? That this will now be do not reject the null hypothesis. And finally, since the test statistic is no longer inside 1%, then the test statistic will also be not inside 0.1%. So our decision for 0.1% will also be do not reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So we now make our decisions using all the 4 values of alpha. So in step 7, we will finally make a conclusion. Okay? Now what will be our conclusion? Let's just do that later after we perform p-value method. Okay? So this is the first method. We call this the critical value method because we look for critical values and we compare the test statistic to the critical values in order to make decisions. Okay? Next is the p-value method. When do we use the p-value method? You can use this anytime. Okay? Interchangeable naman. Critical value method and p-value method. In some problems, it might be explicitly mentioned yung method that you have to use. So just use that. Or if not, then you are free to use any of the two. You don't have to show both in all problems. Just pick one. In p-value method, the rejection rule is fixed. Regardless of the type of test, regardless of the type of hypothesis, it's always reject the null hypothesis if the p-value is less than alpha. Okay? This will always be the rejection rule every time you use p-value method. Okay? So now the question is, how do we compute for the p-value? In step 5, we will compute for the test statistic. So if you haven't computed for it yet, then compute for it. But for this case, na-compute na natin, so I'll just copy. That's 2.2. Now, what is the p-value? The p-value is an area relative to your test statistic. Okay? Our test statistic is 2.2. So, nasan yan if this is your standard normal distribution? Where is 2.2? The one at the center is 0. So, 2.2 must be somewhere to the right. Okay? Now, ano yung p-value? The p-value is this area to the right of the test statistic. This total area is called the p-value. Okay? Now, why is it the area to the right and not the area to the left? Because we have a one-sided greater than alternative. If you have a one-sided less than alternative, the p-value is the area to the left of your test statistic. In the critical value method, what will change if you have a one-sided less than? The critical values will come from the left. Critical values are z-scores with alphas to the left, not to the right. Okay? So ito yung sinabi ko kanina, why it's important for you to know the type. Because that will dictate the rejection rule. Okay? So again, here, the p-value is the area to the right of the test statistic because we have a one-sided greater than hypothesis. Okay? So, what is the area to the right of 2.2? If you use your tables, what is the area to the right of 2.2? Or same lang yan sa area to the left of negative 2.20. That's equal to 1.5. 0.39%. Or 0.0139. Okay? So, now that we have the p-value, we can now make decisions. Okay? So, sige, let me take decisions again for all the 4 values. Again, may 4 values tayo, 10, 5, 1, and 0.1. For you to reject the null hypothesis according to the rejection rule, your p-value should be less than alpha. Okay? So just ask that question for all the values of alpha. Is the p-value less than alpha? So for 10%, is your p-value less than alpha? Is the p-value less than 10%? Is 0.0139 less than 10%? Yes. So, according to the rule, if the p-value is less than alpha, reject the null hypothesis. So for 10%, we reject the null hypothesis. Okay? How about 5%? Is the p-value less than 5%? Is 1.39% less than 5%? Yes. So, reject the null hypothesis again. Next, is 1.39% less than 1%? No. This is slightly greater than 1%, so we will now not reject the null hypothesis for 1% and 0.1%. Or a shortcut here can be, relative to the 4 values of alpha, where is 1.39%? That's somewhere between 1% and 5%. So yun yung boundary mo. Okay, reject for all those above and do not reject for all those below. Okay? So if you compare your decisions in critical value method and p-value method, they should be the same. So you are free to use any of the 2 methods because it will give you the same conclusion. Okay? Now, in both methods, you have to perform the last step, and in the last step, you have to make a complete interpretation using the actual variables. Okay? Again, what was our conclusion here? We can reject the null hypothesis up to 5% only. So in terms of the weight of evidence, based on the slide earlier, how strong is our evidence? Na-reject natin up to 5% lang. So what will be your weight of evidence? According to the table earlier, di ba, may some, may strong, very strong, extremely strong. You only have strong evidence. So that's how we should start your interpretation. We have strong evidence to support the claim that, what were we supporting here? When we rejected this, we said that we have enough evidence to support this. So we just have to translate this in terms of the actual variable. Ano yung mu, okay, and ano yung unit. In this case, we have strong evidence to support the claim that, again, ano yung mu in this problem? Average breaking strength of the population. So just write that completely. You have strong evidence to support the claim that the average breaking strength of all the trash bags produced by the company is 1. What can you see about the average breaking strength of all the trash bags produced by the company? Is greater than 50 pounds. So that's your complete interpretation. Okay? Always use the actual variable. Ano ba yung mu? In this case, mu is average breaking strength of all the trash bags produced by the company. Okay? Or another interpretation here can be, we have strong evidence to support the claim that the trash bag of the company is the strongest in the market. You can also make that conclusion. Okay? questions here for critical and p-value method. So again, that's one-sided greater than. Okay? So in the critical value method, your critical values are all positive. They are the z-scores whose areas to their right are equal to alpha. And in the p-value method, the p-value is the area to the right of the test statistic. Okay? Now let's have another example. Let's have the second type. That's the one-sided less than alternative. Okay? So for one-sided less than, again, yung example earlier was the payment time case. So we set the null and the alternative earlier, right? The null states that mu is greater than or equal to 19.5 days, while the alternative is mu is less than 19.5 days. Okay? So step 2 is the same. Alpha is 10, 5, 1, and 0.1. Step 3 is to determine the correct test. So again, here we are making conclusions about the average payment time of all the customers. So it's mu. What can we say about the sampling distribution of the sample mean? We were not given earlier, we were not given the distribution of all the payment times, but the sample size was 100. 100 or 65? I think in the problem it was mentioned earlier that the sample size was 65. Okay? So the sampling distribution of the sample mean is approximately normal. And then finally, what can we say about sigma? Ay, kulang pala to. For this case, sigma is given. This is the incomplete text of the case. Sigma is known. So in this problem, given this information, we should use the z-test for the population mean. Because all the three conditions, again, were satisfied. So now let's perform this test. So for critical value method, again, what will be the step 4? You have to look for the critical values. Now, what do we call this type of hypothesis? This is now one-sided less than. So as mentioned earlier, pag one-sided less than, the critical values will now be from the left. Okay? So if this is your standard normal distribution, okay, your alphas, your areas will come from the left. So again, we have 4 critical values, 10%, 5%, 1%, and 0.1%. Hindi na yan symmetrical. Let's just assume that this area is 10, this is 5, this is 1, and this is 0.1. So the critical values are negative z sub 0.001. Remember, the negative sign in the subscript means that the area comes from the left. So this is negative z sub 0.01, negative z sub 0.05, and negative z sub 0.1. Now what are these critical values? What is that z-score with 10% to its left? If you know that, are the z-scores here similar to the z-scores there? Pwede ba copyin lang natin? No? Pero, how do we get these z-scores? Again, you can just copy again, get from the table. But since, remember, same yung areas, they just come from another side. They should just differ in terms of the sign. So ano dapat yung critical value for 0.1%?
Negative 3.0.
Negative 3.09. This is negative 2.33. This is negative 1.645. And this is negative 1.28. Okay, later on, baka ma-memorize nyo na din yan kasi paulit-ulit. Okay? So again, this is now the rejection rule for this kind of test. If the test statistic is inside the rejection area or is less than the critical value, then reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So that's the rejection rule for critical value method. Ano yung rejection rule? Sige, let's complete na. Step 5, let's compute for the test statistic, Z-stat. Okay? The sample mean is given, right? The sample mean for the Pimentine case was what? The sample mean was 18.1077. So average payment time was 18.1077 days. And again, we will subtract mu naught, right? X bar minus mu naught. And what will be that value here in this problem? That's the constant, which is 19.5. Then we divide this by sigma sub x bar. So why are we using the shorter formula here? Because again, if you go back to the case, that's an infinite population. Okay? So we use the shorter formula. Sigma is known, that's 4.2. We divide that by the square root of the sample size 65. That gives us a test statistic of negative 2.67. Okay? So, comparing the test statistic to the critical values, where is negative 2.67? Between negative 2.33 and negative 3.09. So based on this location, what should be your decisions? So we will make decisions for all the 4 values. What will be your decision for 10%? This is the test statistic. Is the test statistic inside the rejection area for 10%? I mean rejection area for 10%. To the left of negative 1.28. Is it inside? Clearly it's inside, so your decision for 10% is reject the null hypothesis. How about 5%? Rejection area is this. Is it inside the rejection area? Again, yes. So your decision for 5% is also reject the null hypothesis. What about 1%? Ano yung rejection area? To the left of negative 2.33. Is the test statistic inside the rejection area? Yes. So again, reject the null hypothesis. Finally, for 0.1%, is the test statistic inside this rejection area? No. So the decision for 0.1% is do not reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So given this, again, step 7 requires an interpretation. So I will no longer write the complete interpretation, just write that on your phone. But what will be your weight of evidence here? We were able to reject up to 1%. So how strong is your evidence?
Very strong.
We have very strong evidence. Okay, so I'll just dictate the complete interpretation. We have very strong evidence to support the claim that the average payment time of all the customers is less than 19.5 days. Okay, we were able to reject the null hypothesis because we have very strong evidence to support this. We have very strong evidence to support the claim that the average payment time of all the customers is now less than 19.5 days. Okay? So always write the complete interpretation in step 7. Okay? So that's the critical value method. Okay? Now, what will change if you use instead the p-value method? Remember step 4? Step 4 will always be reject the null hypothesis if the p-value is less than alpha. But we don't have the p-value yet. So we have to compute for that first, where again the p-value is an area from the test statistic. Our test statistic here is negative 2.67. So z stat is negative 2.67. Now, which area do we compute for? To its left or to its right? It should be the area to its left. Why? Because we have a one-sided less than alternative. So this area here is the p-value. And what do we call this p-value? Or what is this p-value equal to? Area to the left of negative 2.67. According to our table, that area is equal to 0.0038. This is 0.0038. Okay? So again, if you use this and compare that to all the 4 values, where is 0.0038? Somewhere between, is this greater than 1%? No, this is less than 1%, but this is greater than 0.001. So it's in between these two. Kaya nga, again, di ba, as you have seen here, reject lahat above and do not reject here. So in step 5, okay, compute for the p-value. Step 6, set this again, write this again. And then step 7 is to make the interpretation. Okay? So again, you see that the process is very similar. They just differ in terms of the direction. Since this is one-sided less than, the total area areas are now coming from the left. Okay, for the critical values and for the p-value. Any questions here for one-sided less than? Now let's have an example for the two-sided case. Okay, for the Valentine's Day case. Remember earlier we just wanted to know if the mean should be equal to 330 or not 330, right? So the null and the alternative again were already set up earlier. Yung null natin, mu is equal to 330, and then alternative is that mu is not equal to 330 boxes. Okay? So step 2 will be the same. We will still test at all those 4 values of alpha. Now, if we go back to the Valentine's Day case, we can see here that we are making conclusions about the average for all the stores, population median, right? Next, what can you say about the sampling distribution of the sample mean? Do we know the distribution of the average, the distribution for the sales for all the stores? Wala. But the sample size is 100. So here it's also approximately normal. How about sigma? For this case again, sorry, the text case is incomplete, but it actually provides the sigma, and the sigma for that case is actually equal to 40. Okay? Sigma is 40. So these 3 conditions are satisfied, which makes it correct for us to use the z-test for the population mean. Okay? So again, similar process. Now, what do you think will change with the critical values? Pag critical value method. Two-sided not equal to, correct. You will have 2 critical values for every value of alpha. One from the left and one from the right. So you will have one big curve. Okay? For alpha of 10%, okay, dalawa. One here sa left, one sa right. This is negative z, but what will happen to the subscript? Remember, alpha is the total area. So the total area to the left of negative z and to the right of this should be 10%. So what should be the area to the left of negative z and the area to the right of z, so that the sum of the two areas is 10%. Symmetrical naman yan, so that should be just alpha over 2. That's 0.05 and 0.05 here. Okay? So yung critical values for alpha of 10% are negative z sub 0.05 and z sub 0.05. Kaya siya alpha over 2 ulit. Similar to confidence intervals. Right? Next, how about the critical values for 5%? You have 1 sa left. That's negative z sub 0.025 and positive z sub 0.025 as well. Alpha over 2. Next, alpha of 1%. So that's negative z sub 0.005 and positive z sub 0.005. And for 0.001, again, divide that into 2. That's negative z sub 0.0005. 30. And here, positive z sub 0.0005. Okay? Now, let's look for the z-scores. What is the z-score with 5% to its left? You got that earlier, right? That z-score is negative 1.645 and the other side is positive 1.645. So your critical values for an alpha of 10% are negative 1.645 and 1.645. How about the critical values for 5%? The z-score with 2.5% to the left and the z-score with 2.5% to the right. So look for 0.025 in the table. And what is that z-score with 2.5%? 0.025. 1.96. Remember, 1.96 yung ginagamit natin before? Same lang yan, kasi alpha over 2 pa rin yan. So this is negative 1.96. This is 1.96. How about 0.005? Ano yung ginagamit before? Negative 2.575 and positive 2.575. And then finally, for 0.005, so we have to look for that again. 0.0005, 3 zeros. There's an exact probability equal to 0.0005, and that's for the test statistic negative 3.29 and positive 3.29. So these are your critical values. Okay? It's just that you have two rejection areas. But the rejection rule is the same. If your test statistic lies in any of the two rejection areas, then reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So now let's compute for the test statistic. Test statistic here uses the same formula. X bar is 326. Mu naught is 330. And then we will use again the shorter formula. So that's sigma over the square root of n, giving us a test statistic of negative 1.00. Okay? Now, where is negative 1.00? among the critical values? Between these two, right? Somewhere here. So based on that location, let's make the decisions for all the values of alpha. Is the test statistic inside any rejection area? Ito yung test statistic. Is it inside any of the 4 rejection areas? No. Hindi siya nasa loob ng 10% pa nga lang, hindi na nasa loob. So what will be your decisions here? For all the 4 values, do not reject the null hypothesis. Okay? And what should be the interpretation? If you do not reject the null hypothesis for any of the 4, you should start your interpretation with, we do not have enough evidence, or there is insufficient evidence to support the claim that the average number of boxes sold for all the stores is not equal to 330. Okay? Ano yung sinasabi? Although our sample mean is 326, although our average is not 330, this is not enough for us to conclude that the average for all the stores is not 330. Okay? Kasi it's a combination of different things. Maybe your sample size is too small, or maybe the average is really not 330. Okay? Again, we just don't have enough evidence to support this. Okay? So that's critical value method. How about p-value method? What will change? For p-value method, again, step 4 is 6. Reject the null hypothesis only if the p-value is less than alpha. Okay? Now, what will be the p-value here in this problem? Your test statistic is equal to what? Negative 1, right? This is, let's say this is negative 1. That's your test statistic. What do you think will be the p-value? Area to the left or area to the right? Dapat, since two-sided yan, it's a combination of the two. You have an area to the left and an area to its right. So here, this is closer to negative infinity. So this area to its left is one part of the p-value. Okay? How about the other p-value? That's the symmetrical side. Okay? So get also the area to the right of positive 1.00. Okay? What can you say about these two areas? It should be the same. Okay? So what you can do is to first get this and add that to this, or just get one side and multiply that by 2. You'll get the same p-value. So what is the area to the left of negative 1? According to the table, that's 0.1587. So if this is 0.1587, and this is also 0.1587, what is the p-value? That's the sum of the two. 0.1587 times 2 is 0.3174. So the p-value is 31.74%. And what can you say about this p-value compared to the 4 values of alpha? Remember yung rejection rule? Reject the null if the p-value is less than alpha. Is this less than any of the 4 values? No. Greater than yan. All the 4 values. That's why, for all the 4 values, we will not reject the null hypothesis. And your conclusion will be the same. We do not have enough evidence to support the claim that the average number of boxes sold for all the stores is not equal to 330 boxes. Okay? Any questions here? So you've now seen the differences among the three types. We had the first one-sided greater than, that's one-sided less than, and then this is two-sided not equal to. And you've also seen the differences in terms of the two methods, if you use critical value or if you use p-value method. Okay? So this is your first test, z-test for means. Okay? Now, what do you think will happen if sigma is unknown? You cannot use the z-test for means. You have to use the t-test for means. Okay? So what else do you think will change? If it's a t-test, then your critical values are t-scores. Where do you get those t-scores? From the other table, from the t-table. Okay? So you have to have the t-table for you to get the critical values. Now, pag t-test, you have to be more careful. Because remember, pag z-test, you can always just copy these z-scores kasi they will never change. But for t-test, you always have to look for critical values. Because t-scores depend on alpha and df. Okay? So just be careful for t-test. What else will change if you are performing a t-test? Formula is slightly different. Walang sigma, so this should be small letter s. And we represent that as t stat. Okay? How about the decision? It should be the same. If the test statistic is inside the rejection area, then reject the null hypothesis. Okay? Now, for p-value method, it's the same. T stat is your test statistic. So the p-value is an area relative to your test statistic. Okay? So let's go to that now. What if you don't have population standard depth? Okay? The correct test is again called the t-test for the population mean. So you will use that if you are approximating the mean of a population, the sampling distribution of the sample mean is normal, but sigma is unknown. Okay? So again, very similar siya. Even the rejection rule, pag p-value method, as long as the p-value is less than alpha, then reject the null hypothesis. The rejection rule for critical value method is the same. As long as the test statistic is inside the rejection area, then reject the null hypothesis. Pag p-value method of a one-sided greater than, area should be to the right of the test statistic, or dapat the test statistic is greater than the critical value. Again, very similar. The only difference here is that you're getting numbers from the t table instead of the z table. Okay? So let's have one example for t-test. Suppose that a random sample of 16 measurements from a normally distributed population gives a sample mean of 13.5 and a sample standard depth of 6. Construct a test that will determine whether we can say that the population mean is greater than 10. Okay? So, set up the null and the alternative hypothesis. What should be the alternative here? What is your sample mean trying to suggest? Sample mean mo is 13.5. It seems to be greater than population mean of 10. So that will be your alternative. We will try to test if the population mean is greater than 10. So the null hypothesis is mu is less than or equal to 10. Walang unit here, so no need to add the unit. Step 2 should be the same. 10, 5, 1, and 0.1%. Now in step 3, we will identify the correct test. First, we are approximating the mean of a population. Okay? Mu yung tinitest. Next, what can you say about the sampling distribution of the sample mean? It's exactly normal. Why? The measurements come from a normally distributed population. So here, the sampling distribution is exactly normal. How about sigma? Do we have sigma? Is the population standard depth known? No, we only have the sample standard depth. So sigma is unknown, therefore the correct test that should be performed here is not the z-test but the t-test for the population mean. Okay? So, for critical value method, where will the critical values come from? Anong type to? One-sided, greater than, so where should the critical values come from? They should come from the right. Okay? Let's see, this is your T curve. Okay? Again, we also have 4 critical values. T sub 0.1, T sub 0.05, T sub 0.01, and T sub 0.001. Okay? And again, we have to look for these critical values in the table. What is the degrees of freedom in this problem? Degrees of freedom is sample size minus 1 or